How's everyone doing?
Good.
Good. All right. It is really weird in here with the blinds being down in 3/4, but it does make it cooler. That's for sure. I'm freezing, so I'm with you. I know. Who was it? Dina just walked into my office, and I had the heater on, and she's like, "Are you crazy?" I'm like, "I'm freezing." Yeah, I can't do it. You know, I will refrain from saying what I'm going to say, Alex. All right, guys, for those of you that are new, we like to say this one together. To build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. And of course, God, family, then business, and our Y4C2Ts. All right, what bucket fills do you guys have? Anybody help you out? Open a door, do an open house, do a showing for you. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a bucket fill for Mia. It's not that she did anything for me, it's just that she's always such a ray of sunshine.
Yeah.
Like her energy, her smile, her personality. I mean, every time I see Mia, I'm just like happy. You know?
I love that.
So I know she's downstairs, but I just want to just say thank you to Mia for just always being a ray of sunshine at the front desk.
Love that. Thank you, Mia. All right, Miss Kathleen.
Thank you to Tony and Cherise. They ran an awesome Ignite class yesterday morning to kick us off. Lots of energy, really great feedback from the room. So
Awesome. Love that. Love that. All right. Any other bucket fills before we move on? All right, guys. Well, congratulations. Asif had his first closing, and he's new with us. So that's awesome. Congratulations. All right, AI and social media mastery. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. It's coming up next week. Here's the details on it specifically. Next Gen is putting this on. Rachel Adams-Lee, Patrick Ferry, Eric Forney, and Lauren Lucas. I know a lot of you guys got to go to her event that happened a couple months ago, but here's the cost for the sessions. If you guys have any questions, let us know. And then Miss Lisa is going to come on up. She's got a whole game show event for you today.
Oh, no, it's not a game. It should have been next time. That would have been really fun.
I know, we did.
Play to win. So.
Right?
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay,
We'll
we'll see if we can turn it into a game show.
You can do this.
Okay. This one, I don't think I do with this one. But showing time is back, connected to MLS again. Not that it went away, but now you can click on MLS and choose either showing time or aligned. And in the bold, they're saying the appointments are supposed to automatically sync between aligned and showing time. So we'll see if that happened. I don't know. I can't speak to personal experience on this yet. So I guess let us know your experience. But that's awesome. A reminder about the old Sentry locks. They're going to essentially die. They're going to deactivate at the end of this month. So if you have one sitting on a listing somewhere, make sure you swap it because you don't want someone to come, on August 1st and they can't get in. So make sure you get rid of your old lock boxes, swap those out. Couple of reminders, notice of defects. Some bullet points. These are frequently asked questions coming up a lot on the helpline. When you are serving a notice of defects, you should outline the defects noted in the inspection report and attach a copy of the report. You have to give that notice of defects prior to the deadline of the inspection contingency. Otherwise, it doesn't count. Once it's delivered, if the seller has the right to cure, then that deadline kicks in. Usually it's 10 days unless someone filled in the line in that offer. The default is 10 days. The seller can or not cure the defects. If they are going to cure them, they have to send a notice back. It can't be an email or a text or whatever. A WB-41 notice must be sent back. And if they're going to cure, it's no later than 3 days prior to closing. Are you laughing at Tony's apple?
Yeah.
Every time you say a line, there's a crunch, and then you say another line, and there's another crunch.
I just gonna keep this.
Yeah, this is a chip guy. Chip guy 2.0. All right.
I'll save the rest of that apple for later.
Okay, that's great. Save it for
I was
Charlie.
fine until
I'm glad
Therese.
Dana's high at the same time
Yep.
as me.
I was hearing it, but I was ignoring
I mean, it's
it.
a delicious apple.
That's good.
It's crispy.
Anyway, so more on inspection.
It is. That little sweet.
If the deadline passes, the contingency is considered waived. If you're running up against an inspection deadline, you may have to serve a notice of defects if you're not getting a response on an amendment. So sometimes that can happen. The inspection deadline does not change because the binding acceptance date of a proposed amendment falls after the inspection deadline. So an amendment does not change that deadline. There is a flow chart. If you like flow charts,
I love them. Yeah.
then here's a flow chart.
It's a good looking chart.
There we go. Yeah, so it's split into no right to cure and right to cure. What happens if there's defects or no defects? Essentially, either way, if you have an inspection and do nothing, then you're continuing and going to close. But this flowchart is available. You can get it in the app if you choose. And then a reminder on CAMR procedures. If you are going to have the money go back via trust funds, then on line 10 there in address, write in via trust funds. You can only send earnest money back via trust funds if that is how it was received. CAMR procedures. Make sure you put your CAMR in your under contract folder in your opportunity and submit it. And then you do need to go to the agent hub, kwrealtymke.com, and submit your request through there. So make sure you can get the slide later if you want. This went out in an email when the procedure changed, but you need to submit it, and you need to go onto the website and submit it there too. When you are having a CAMR, you are not going to start a whole new opportunity for that listing or that buyer. You can actually add a version. So if, let's say it's a listing in your under contract folder, there's a drop-down arrow next to under contract. You select add version, and that will have a brand new fresh checklist for you where you can put the new documents for the new accepted offer. And then you'd be able to see everything in the same opportunity.
Does that make sense for everyone as far as that goes in the opportunity itself? Yeah, okay.
If you have issues with it when it happens to you, you can always give a call and we can walk you through it.
For sure.
And then if it's a buyer, then you wait and update the opportunity details with the new address once the buyer is under contract with the new property. And then just a reminder of how to get us on the helpline, and that's all I have. Were there questions?
No, thank you,
Okay,
thank you,
cool.
thank you. All right, leadership update. So they let the other offices know already. Kimmy is just taking 8 weeks off for the summer. Nothing's going to change. The way everybody operates, still all the same. Just giving you guys an update on that. If you have any questions, still call compliance. We have tons of staff and amazing leadership that are there to pick up the pieces. So if you guys have any questions, just let us know. Yes.
Can I add two things from GMAR?
Sure.
So, one, GMAR is making a huge push on professional standards. So,
Good.
Tom McCormick is the president. It's a big thing for him. I support him. So you're going to see a lot of stuff with that, and like discipline and transparency around discipline and that kind of stuff is kind of in like the spotlight right now. So just brush up on your professional standards. And two, Tether, that program they released to help. It was like kind of like
Forewarn.
Yeah, that program, like nobody signed up for it. Like literally in GMAR, like 25 people signed up for it. So they're going to make it free for a certain amount of people. So
Yeah.
there's some communication on that. And hopefully, we can be the ones to utilize it. There's some background check capability, like mileage tracking, SOS alerts, like all that kind of stuff.
No way to get them over to Forewarn, huh?
No, I was telling everyone. I'm sitting in the meetings. I go literally every time I bring this up, people go, "We want Forewarn."
Well, because with Tether, you guys have to pay per file pull, right? Like you have to pay.
So I think in this new iteration where it's going to be free, I think they're going to include a certain amount per month for free.
Okay.
So just watch for it. The exact details aren't done yet, and then in a year or so, I think they'll reevaluate. But at least give it a try and have a good idea of if we like this one better or Forewarn better.
Is there anybody here that doesn't know what Tether or Forewarn is? Okay, so truthfully, Forewarn and Tether, they work very similar. Forewarn, you can go in and search anybody by a phone number or by an email or by name. It literally will tell you everyone they've ever been married to, who they're related to, if they've been arrested, if they have any kind of background, foreclosures, how many properties they have, the cars they drive, and the license plate numbers on them.
Oh.
It's legit. But Forewarn is like in other states it's free, like up in Madison it's free. Laura uses it. Certain other MLSs are using it. And you're not paying per search. Tether is very similar, and James has been able to show me kind of like what the reports look like and stuff before. So if you guys have any questions, he can help you with that as well. But you guys need to be utilizing it. You should not be meeting with new clients without doing any kind of a background check. Especially, I see a lot of these posts recently talking about, hey, is this person legit? Is this person real? Are you guys getting a person like this? This is your best go-to. You should be running a search on everybody. Also, like, you know, it lets you know if they're qualified pretty much. So, yes.
Do you feel like it is quite accurate?
Forewarn 100%. I can't speak to Tether because I have not personally played around with it. You have to be a licensed realtor in it. With Forewarn, yes, 100%.
Yeah, please just once the email comes out, just sign up, try it.
Yeah, especially if it's free.
Because that gives me a ton to go back to the board and say, they all hate it. We need to move forward.
And there's several of you paying for Forewarn right now, paying the membership fee. So if you keep up Forewarn and you download the free Tether, give him screenshots. That would help him go back to bat and say like, hey, this is what I pulled on Forewarn, and Tether's maybe not showing me as much. I'm still going to continue to use, and here's why, right?
I don't use Forewarn that much, but I do have it on my phone because I'm Northwest use it for free.
Yeah, as I said, a lot of the MLSs do give it for free. I know in several states it's free, and you can use it to background check anybody for anything. So it does help for sure.
Come on, we say for free. It's part of dues. Like, people
Yes,
pay
you're paying for
they
it.
don't-
Nothing's free in this
nothing's
world.
free. They're paying for it.
You're paying a part of your dues, but it's included and you don't have to pay anything additional. Okay, any other questions on that before we keep going? All right, training and education. Just a heads up, tomorrow we've got the Agent Advantage Stronger Deals, More Referrals. Jenny Klug is teaching this, so if you guys have any questions, this will be on Zoom at 11. And then Ignite also going on tomorrow. Will Stallé is teaching database. And then we've got Sherry teaching on the 16th. And next week, Tina is doing appointments on the 20th. So you guys can still register. You don't have to agree to do all the Ignites, but you can go ahead and register piece by piece and make sure you guys are getting signed up. And then time management, the 4-in-1, that's the 27th from 9 until noon with Jennifer Baldwin. Family Day. A lot of you guys are not signed up. That is happening next week.
Next week.
Next week. Thursday, sign up. It's free. Alex, are you in the tank again?
I don't think so.
So if you guys didn't get to come last year, they've increased it. They have more events, more stuff. There's even a video game truck this year.
We've got DJ Zach.
Yeah.
On the wheels of steel.
So register. QR code is up. Bring your families. This is a free event for you guys. Free food. Come engage with all of your peers and agents. Get to know someone. I can't tell you how many weekends have not gone by where I don't get at least 7 or 8 agents that text me, hey, I need an agent in this area. I need an agent in Dodge County. I need an agent in this city. Guys, get to know your peers. And also, in our MKE app, we have all of the agent rosters that you can access. And I know for ours, we've started inputting the cities in which you actually live in on the roster to make it easy for you to say, like, hey, I'm in a pinch and I need somebody in Dodge County. So we have agents all over, which is really cool here. So if you need someone in Burlington, you need someone in Dodge County, you need someone in Green Bay, we've got several agents that are a part of multiple MLSs and are available to you guys. But Family Day is a great way to come meet them. Simon Sinek, if you guys are coming to Mega Camp, who in here is going to Mega Camp? Okay, I know there's quite a few. So there are plenty of people still selling tickets discounted. I've been seeing them left and right. All I ask is that if you decide to go last minute, verify with me or any of the leadership staff so that we can verify it's a legit ticket. We usually will reach out to the team leaders or look them up to make sure that they're truly selling a ticket. There unfortunately is some scams that go around out there trying to get people to pay for tickets, and they're not even a KW agent or don't even have a ticket. So if you are trying to buy one at the discounted rates from the early bird pricing and you decide to go, let me know so that we can just verify that the tickets you're getting are legit. And then career night. This is for our office here coming up in August next month. It's going to be the 13th, 6 to 7. So I know they're working on a smart plan and flyer. This is your opportunity to anybody who's been saying to you, I'd like to get into real estate, I'd like to learn more about classes. How do I do this? What do I do? This is a great opportunity for them to come and learn about how to get into real estate. All right, technology updates. Uniflow. Is anybody in here not set up with Uniflow yet? Okay, we will get you set up on Uniflow. Let's make sure you see us after the team meeting. Eric or I can help you get everything finished and walk through. We want to make sure that you guys are utilizing it. How's the feedback so far? Good?
Good.
Happy?
Yeah.
When you get it set up correctly and you have it to where you can print from any device and you can walk into any office and you're not having to use the actual website to go to it, it really is nice to be able to just print and your stuff is secure on the printer. And I will tell you guys, we're throwing out a lot less paper. There was a lot of stacks that we were constantly putting in recycling daily or throwing away that people were printing and forgetting or multiple. Yeah. It's saving you money because you were paying for it. Yeah.
Is the load paper thing still an issue?
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah,
Okay.
They have to read every time.
All right, so we'll follow up on that and figure out what's
That's the
causing
only
it.
annoying thing I've-
Yeah.
Is the load paper error? And is it on all sizes or just the?
I mean,
Okay, I was having it on the legal. Okay. Agent Hub joins our app, so resources, network, AI, all of it's going to be in one place. So just keep in mind, if you're not utilizing that app, please start playing around with it. It really does have so much information at your fingertips, and it'll make your life a lot easier. So make sure you guys are downloading the app and getting access to everything. The listing network, who in here is using this? Are you guys paying attention to it? Good. Okay. Just want to make sure you guys are utilizing it, the exchange. And Mr. Charlie Stallé, come on up.
so quiet today.
Woo!
I'm digging the shoes.
Get your chips.
You know what? My mom would kill me for wearing sandals today, but it's 100 freaking degrees, and I had loafers on. And gentlemen can understand, maybe ladies too. When you wear like leather shoes without socks and your feet start sweating, I'm like, why even bother?
I was surprised you're not in shorts.
Just, anyways, that was way too much information. You want me to tell you more information that I shouldn't tell you, but I will?
Yeah.
The excluded list is coming back to the MLS.
Oh.
James, do you know when?
I think it's going to be this month.
Yeah, stay tuned. Here's the truth. You've seen a lot of systems conversions from us, which seems like a lot of change. The reality of it is a couple things. One, everything we're doing is optimizing our systems to be AI generative so that you can search it, you can have access to it, and or whatever it is that you might need to do. All of it's being converted so that we can optimize it on one system. I will also tell you, in the background, we're working on an AI solution from a financial perspective to help create efficiencies from a GCI of how we pay you to create speed in that source. And so a lot of these things that you're seeing from us are ways to optimize our systems moving forward. And appreciate your guys' patience as we moved a lot of systems conversions over because the world's changing quickly. So appreciate your patience. Cool?
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, you won't need Tony to disclose all his excluded listings. You can just find it on the MLS moving forward. And we're going to keep tightening the screws on these guys to make sure that we're progressive in the industry in southeastern Wisconsin. Cool? All right, so I'm going to give you some market insights. we're 6 months of the way through the year, but you have to understand something. The reality of the situation that we are in, this is called the energy tile. This is the way I think about how if the calendar year was a clock, how would you look at the year? Okay? Winter is separation is in the preparation. You should be preparing your business for the spring and summer explosion. You are right in the middle of the spring and summer explosion because in southeastern Wisconsin, 65% of all residential real estate transactions occur from March to September. Okay? And if you're planning 90 days out, 80% of your year should be in pending or booked as it stands today. A lot of people think about the year that like the year's halfway over. The reality is in this business, 80% of your year is already over. Now, good news, bad news in that. Bad news is 80% of the year is already over. Good news is that it doesn't say 100% of the year is over. Okay? You have time to course correct and adjust, and I'll give you some perspective on why I believe that to be true and why you can still get out of this business what you want. Or if you're having an absolutely incredible year, how do you put jet fuel into what you're doing and take it into the next year to do more than what you ever thought was possible based on the goal you set for 2026? Cool? Now, the question is, sitting here on July 14th, will you take advantage of the opportunity that is presenting itself in the market, or will you allow the opportunity to pass yourself by, you'll wallow in your cereal, and you'll say, well, I'll give it my good old try next year? What I'm going to tell you, and I will show you, is the data is telling you that there's plenty of opportunity to be had. You have to take advantage of it. Okay? A couple things to highlight, too. First, as an organization across all locations, in June, we paid out more GCI. You guys earned more GCI than we've ever paid out in a single given month. We paid out $10.4 million in the 30-day window of June. It was up 33% versus June of last year. You want to know what was not up 33% versus June of last year?
Units.
The business in general. Point being is, sometimes I think the group as a collective whole needs perspective around the person to the left of you and the person to the right of you in terms of what you guys are doing and what you're accomplishing and what you're achieving. The other thing that's absolutely crazy, year to date, we've paid out $39.1 million in gross commission incomes earned to the collective group. That's up 20%. For perspective, the market's only up 8%. So you're 2xing the market as it relates to the income you're earning, and that's in a market where listing commissions are being compressed a little bit, and the market's only up 8%. So kudos to you guys. The other piece of that is a collective whole. Profit share will pay out $100,000 in the month of June, which is up 11% across the entire organization. And year to date, it'll be $416,000, which is a 15% increase over the entire organization. Now, I know, I'll say the elephant in the room, I know this group likes to talk about what is it that we earn here. My challenge to you is that we collectively look at everything as one ecosystem, and that you have the opportunity to earn profit share whether they sit in Germantown or Mequon or Lake Country or New Berlin or anywhere. Or any state. But knowing the relationships you have, I look at it as the collective whole, and how are we contributing to the overall profit share opportunity that you guys have access to. Make sense? So be on the lookout in exactly 7 days for a big profit share check for those that are participating in the profit share system. Cool? Sweet. Market insights, shall we? Feel free to fire away questions. All right, here's the thing I would share with you as it relates to the predictions I gave you in December and January. My prediction was the market will be up 4% in closed units. As it stands today through June, the market's up 3%. The interesting thing, which shows you how important June is and your overall ability to earn your income, at the end of May, the market was up 1% on closed units. One 30-day window effectively tripled the amount of closed units on a year-to-date trend line. Closed dollar volume, my prediction was the market will be up 8% or more. As it stands today through June, the market's up 8.5%. Now, at the end of May, the market was up 4%. So you can see quickly how important June is within a calendar year in terms of transactional units and transactional volume. Rates, I said rates will stabilize, which is true. I thought they would stabilize closer to 6 to 6.2. The reality is, which I'll show you, they're hovering between 6.4 and 6.5. I don't foresee that changing, but they're stabilizing and normalizing, which is also impacting in a positive way new unit inventory, which I'll get to. Inventory is thawing and unlocking, demand demographics, and the Wisconsin advantage I've talked about with all you guys. So I bring this up to help you put wind in your sails, because here's the truth. Across the country, the residential real estate market is relatively soft. Okay? Austin, Phoenix, anywhere in Florida, California, the narrative from a headlines perspective is the residential market is soft. The challenge of it is we don't live in Texas, Arizona, Florida, or California, do we? So the problem is, here's a little interesting factoid for you. Do you know that the number one news source, whether the news is valid or not, the number one news source where people get their news in the U.S. is?
Socials.
Yeah, but a specific platform.
Facebook.
Oh,
No, LinkedIn.
X.
Really?
Twitter is the number one news source in the U.S. Well, there's a lot of things we could say about people's IQs, but that's a whole other topic. Here's my point. The reason why I give you guys this data every single month is so that you can be the voice of reason and the economist of choice for your database and your clients. Because if you are not, they're going to Twitter, they're going to X, they're going to Facebook, they're going everywhere else. And you know what the news is dominated by? Florida, California, Texas, and Arizona. And if they only listen to what is going on in those states or in multitude of other areas, they will think that the world is, sky is falling, things are happening, they need to do certain things with their real estate, and you need to be the voice of reason. The reason why I continuously bring this slide up is the reason why we don't face those same factors is there's a net migration pattern where our population in our state is growing, and when you have demand surging, we have no issue as it relates to how that impacts our real estate. Now, here's how I know that to be true and how it's showing up in the numbers. New unit inventory is up roughly 2% versus June of this year versus June of last year, and it's up 14% versus June of 24. This goes to my theory that inventory is unlocking or de-thawing because rates are normalizing, time has passed, life events go on, and the more inventory comes to the market, the more deal flow that can be had. Okay? We're seeing this in total inventory as well. In the month of, I want to back up here really quickly. I want to give you some context. Last year in May, if you look at this, the peak of the market was May. In 2025. In 2025, it was 2,819, and then it started to slip in June and July. What I'm basically here to tell you is, last year the peak of the market was May 14th, 2025. I am not of the belief that we have hit the peak market coming out of June. Okay? The reason that's important is we have 6 to 8 to 12 more weeks of selling season before the markets will start to slide into the fall. And the reason that's important is I don't want you to miss the windows where you can either accelerate what it is that you're doing or course correct your opportunity. Okay? Total inventory is up. We need more inventory in order to solve the demand problem. Expired inventory units, this is kind of good news, bad news. Bad news is still elevated. The good news is it's less elevated than what it was. The trends were anywhere up around 30 to 40% on any given month. Right now we're sitting at a 15%. There's two reasons for this. One, you have more sellers that are testing the market to see what kind of equity they have in their home, so there's a lot of seller tire kickers. And two, they have a lot of sellers with unrealized expectations of what the market will bear, and so they are quick to give the listing agent the hook. A couple things, I've talked about this before, but rates are tied to oil. Oil is tied to rates. Okay? When you look year to date, oil is up 39% because of obvious geopolitical factors in the Middle East. And yet, rates have stabilized. That was going over the past year to date. When you look over the last 1 month metric, 1 month it's only up 6% as a crude oil. Why and what is that doing with rates? Well, let's take a look at rates. Here's where they were in February. You can see the spike leading into April. We went from 5.9 to 6.4, and now we're kind of stabilizing at 6.4. Point being is, oil always generates where rates will go 30 days later. Oil is the lead metric to the lag metric, which is mortgage rates. This is why I'm saying that I think rates will stabilize in the 6.4 to 6.6 range. And all of that could be thrown out the window with some geopolitical conflict, but it's something that we look to help future pace where we think rates will go. I think it's an easier metric than the mortgage guys will understand this, looking at treasury spreads. No one understands treasury spreads, but everyone understands the price of oil. It's an easier correlative impact for you. So when a buyer comes to you and said, where do you think rates will go? You can say, well, we know that rates follow oil. Oil's been relatively stable over the last month. I predict rates to continue to be stable for a period of time. Now, despite conflict geopolitically and some uncertainty, the reason why you have consumer confidence is if you look at the S&P over the last 12 months, it's up 20%. So when your clients are looking at their balance sheets to make a decision on if they trade up or if they sell or they do all these things, they look at the totality of their financial picture. And when their financial picture over the last 12 months is up 20%, is why consumers have confidence in order to continue to act in this environment. Okay? And when you look at it, this is in the last 12 months, and then year to date, it's up roughly 9.5%. Tells you, again, consumer confidence ebbs and flows with the stock market. So their rates ebb and flow with oil. Mindset to taking action ebbs and flows with the stock market. That's why I give you the S&P 500. Make sense? Cool. Average days on market. This is interesting to note and important to note. This year versus last year and versus 24, the velocity in terms of days on market is up about a week. Okay? To a consumer, an extra 6 to 7 days to sell a house feels like an eternity. This is why I think you're seeing the expired listings where they are. You have to right-size expectations as to how long it will take to help someone sell their home. In any normal market, 29 days or 24 days or 21 days is very fast. They're just used to a sign going in the yard on Thursday and an accepted offer by Sunday. That is also not normal. Okay? Your job is to provide perspective. That's how you get your value. Sales absorption rate, this is an indicator of demand. I give this to you because this is the first indicator that tells us if there is a demand softening. In June, 36% of the overall inventory was sold. It was up 5% versus June of last year and up 8%, 9% versus June of 24. This is the first trend we look at in terms whether things are going positively or negatively as it relates to demand. So we look at if there is a surging demand or a softness of demand. My point in sharing this with you is demand is really healthy and there's nothing that's telling us it will fall off a cliff in our market. Again, this is where I'm telling you to put your blinders on because I'm not talking about Florida, Arizona, Florida, whatever it might be. Okay? And then lastly, all of this plays into demand or to pricing. Pricing on the average was up roughly 6% on the average and 13% versus June of 24. When you look at the median, it was up 5% or up in versus June of 25 and 10% versus June of 24. Net, what are we saying? Sellers are de-thawing or unlocking. More inventory is coming to the market. The market in and of itself is still competitive. Demand has not subsided. A lot of this has to do because the stock market is still relatively healthy, so people put balance sheets, they're willing to stay in the game and be competitive. The challenge of it is, from a seller's perspective, we can get you the right price and the right terms. You need a little bit more patience than what you think this will take, because on average it's taking about a week longer than it has in the past. Yet, we know the metrics are telling us that homes are still appreciating at around 6%, which is really, really healthy. You should be in a good spot. Make sense? Yeah, Nick.
So, as far as like home prices go, I have a buddy of mine that's moving to South Carolina.
Yeah.
And this weekend we were looking at houses as he's going to buy something down there. And it was incredible to see the difference in prices in an area like that. Like 2,500 square feet, 4-bed, 2-bath, like new construction, $300,000 on the market for 60 days. And like house after house, good areas, Same thing, I was just in Austin a month or two ago, and the market was similar down there. You think that, so like when people say that house prices around here, I hear it all the time, houses are so expensive, and I agree with them. I think it's very expensive to buy houses in this greater Milwaukee area. Do you think that there's any, I don't know, I'm not saying anything bad's gonna happen as far as decrease in prices, but do you think that that's gonna hold as far as prices go and appreciation? Because I mean, it's just crazy to see compared to other places.
I think that there's other factors going on that people aren't paying attention to. This is the first thing I would look at. If people are leaving the state, if there's a net migration outflow of people, that's the first indicator I'd say, okay, hold on here. Demand's leaving. Like, you need people to be able to buy. The other thing you got to remember in our, let's just call it our bubble of southeastern Wisconsin, regionally, from a business perspective, and you just take a look at the corridor from, I've talked about this before, from Milwaukee to the Illinois border on 94-43. When I was a kid, that was all farmland. When I was a kid going from Milwaukee to Madison, the only thing you did was stop in Johnson Creek for gas, but outside of Johnson Creek, there was nothing. And now you look at Sun Prairie and everything. My point being is, I think where the future of our area is going is regionally there will be a triangle, maybe a rectangle, from Chicago to Milwaukee to Madison, where the region within that triangle is going to grow. Depending on what happens in the Fox Valley and Green Bay area, that's why I say it could be a rectangle. I think the things that are happening in Port Washington, north up into Sheboygan with all the data centers will be interesting to follow in terms of what will that lead to. But Nick, where I'm getting at is very similarly, I had a friend who left Dallas, Texas. He had a 5-bedroom, 4-bath house with an in-ground pool. I think he sold it for like $650. He came here thinking he was going to live on a Taj Mahal on the lake because everybody downplays Milwaukee. Oh, I should be, Milwaukee, cost of living should be great. It's not Chicago. And then we're showing him, I'm not, but I know that he was looking at homes and he was like, I get a 3-bedroom, 1.5-bath Tudor for $650. What? It's just regional dynamics are different, and we have a lot of good things going for us in terms of what's going on in the business environment that are attracting people, and demand is always the first indicator we look to. Now, we have to be weary of what the price per square foot metric is and where that's going to land. But I also think too, and Tony, I'll get to you in a sec. The other thing that's surging that no one has really paid attention to, I call it the dumpster effect. Post-COVID, from 2020 to 2025, talk to any of your contractors, and business was booming. Booming. People were renovating kitchens, they were renovating bathrooms, they were finishing their basements, they were doing all the things to their homes they always wanted to do. And the housing stock, the investment that people made in this area in the housing stock, I think also is what elevated of what the value of these homes are. And that's a piece that is hard to comprehend or quantify because there's a lot of improvements that have been made to homes in the housing stock in terms of what people did. I don't know. There was a lot of things in there, but those are just some of the talking points to think through. I can go more on and on. I could nerd out about this, but Tony, go on.
Well, I just want to say, you're not wrong, though. We've been experiencing it a lot with friends and family, specifically Carolinas, Texas, Florida, Arizona, where they're looking at the square footage and the in-ground pools and going, oh my gosh, look how much bang for buck I can get or whatever in those areas. But then at the same time, it's all relative because we've had friends come in from Denver and from Seattle, and they're blown away by how affordable Milwaukee is. They're like, they're at our house, and they're just like, oh man, I can't believe that your house was only this much money, but you can touch it for less than $750,000 in outside of Denver or outside of Seattle. So it's all relative depending on what's going on in those markets. I think the southern states are always going to be a little bit more competitive for a lot of reasons you just described. Whereas you look at some of the East Coast, West Coast, and other major metros, and we are still much more affordable than those options, which is maybe another reason why we're seeing some of those transplants come back home.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, the only other thing I would tell you, and I have this data, I just don't have it in this deck, is I shared this with you guys, some of you before, but if you just look at pricing, and let's just say this is 2000s and this is 26, and let's say you look at the Southeast, is a lot of those areas we described. The Southeast is more like this. If this is value and this is time, and the Midwest is more like this, where the peaks and valleys aren't as extreme as they are in the Southeast. So even like go to 08 really is like, people ask me all the time in 2021, am I buying at the peak of the market? You know, what happens if 08 happens again? Well, even in 08, like, you know, you heard values dropping by 35 to 50%. Here they dropped 15 to 25% depending on the geographical locale. So it's just more of a peaks and valleys conversation when people are moving in. But over time, and this is true nationally, like over time values only go up. And it's just what moment of time are you buying or selling in. What's also interesting to note, and I just saw this data released, is on average, 5 years ago, the average tenure in a home was 5 to 7 years. The latest data they just released is that number has jumped to 11 years. So people's tenure in their home is actually getting longer too. Yeah, James.
I was glad you said that because we were talking about unlocking inventory, and Resi Club reported last week for the first time in like years, the percentage of people with a mortgage that have a mortgage below 4% is now below 50%.
Yeah.
It's at 49.9, which is down a ton from the peak with all the refinances and everything. And I feel like those are like not one at a time, but two at a time. Because if someone with a low mortgage sells their house, someone's coming in with a higher mortgage, and they're going to go buy something with a higher mortgage. So now no one has the golden handcuffs anymore. Like, we're going to rapidly shrink that percentage. And then people's main resistance to moving has been the interest rate. That goes away. And now I feel like people get more into a cycle of, now I can just, if an opportunity comes up, I can move, whereas right now they're not doing it.
Yeah.
They have a 2.75% interest rate. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on what that looks like, because we can see that that percentage is like steadily dropping, and I feel like it's going to clip at some point.
Yeah, I think that all goes to show how we're seeing new inventory come to the market. Like, time wins all. Remember that. People are going to get death, divorce, job change. They're going to grow their families. They're going to have kids. As more time happens, like that's where that's going to continue to unlock.
Yeah, I just was wondering. You talk about the values of properties located in different states, and I can't help but think that nature also has had a large part to play in this, because there's been a lot more hurricanes and stuff coming in that have been causing a whole lot more flooding over the last 5 years versus, you know, what it was a 25-year stretch. We moved here from Texas. We were there for the bad freeze. We were there for the hurricane. We were there when Harvey hit. It was a disaster. And a lot of insurance companies weren't wanting to pay out for, you know, the devastation that happened. A lot of money was having to come out of pocket. There are people that I know still haven't rebuilt their homes because they still can't get the payout and they can't afford to fix them. So, I mean, they're literally living paycheck to fix them up. So I can't help but wonder if homes are cheaper there because people are leaving. They're fixing up their houses, they're selling, and they're leaving because the increase in, you know, in natural disasters has gone up.
Yeah, the key piece of it, and this is in my predictions, I talk about the Wisconsin advantage. In the Midwest, as a whole region, the prediction is it will continue to grow for two reasons. Low incidence of natural disaster, and the byproduct of that is insurance premiums. Florida right now, inventory is crazy because no one can actually afford the insurance premiums. And two, a high accessibility of fresh water. The reason why all these data centers are showing up, fresh water. And so the Midwest advantage is all around more natural resources, the element of natural resources in our environment, and that's also going to be continuing, I think, over the next 10 years, a contributing factor why there will be continuous appreciation, because we don't have to deal with a lot of that. We just have to deal with Januaries when it's shitty.
Yeah, insurance is a lot higher in Texas, right?
Yeah. So, all right, you want to know what's winning at the moment?
Yes.
Here you go. Couple things to point out. List price to accepted offer ratio, 102.4, off from 103 since it's been effectively since March. I think part of that is seller expectations rising and buyers lowering expectations of what they will overpay to. My prediction is you're going to continue to see that getting closer to 100%, not going the other way until next spring again. Okay, earnest money hasn't changed. Here's a big one that has changed. Inspection contingencies are much more now 50-50 than they were at 60-40 last month, or even into what we saw in March and April. This month, because of the flip of more of a 50-50 environment, I went and looked at it. Of the 50% of accepted offers that had a home inspection, 50% of those offers had a threshold, with the average threshold being $9,000. Okay? 31% cash versus 69% financed. We saw this is a jump in the last several months. I think here's the truth. People's balance sheets have gotten healthy. They write a cash offer, they finance it before they close, but because the market's up roughly 20% over the last 12 months, that's why you're seeing an incidence increase there. And co-broke compensation being 2.33%. You know, again, I keep bringing this up just to remind everyone that the world did not end after that lawsuit. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. My market of the moment script is very similar to what it has been. Not much change because the market itself, in and of itself, did not change. I will remind you as a group, all of this is available to you on the KW Realty MKE app when you just simply ask, hey, give me lore or give me the team meeting or whatever. So if you want any of this for marketing or presentation purposes, feel free to rip off and duplicate as you see fit. I'm here to provide it and give it to you. And then lastly, I thought I'd just give you a quick brokerage update. This is where we're at year to date across the landscape in southeastern Wisconsin. A couple things to point out. Metro MLS is up 8.5%. Us as a collective ecosystem as KW are up 22%. We're outpacing the market by 159%. Pretty good for the group that, like, you guys are killing it. You really are. And it's showing up in your incomes, which is like why I shared it in the very beginning. It's incredible. Our results are a reflection of what you guys do. We're just here to support you and serve you to make sure you get done what you want to get done. There's the visual so you can see in terms of separation of the pack. And then I always give you the luxury stats, and here's why I want to preface this in the luxury way, is everyone here desires to continuously grow the price points you operate in, yes? Okay, luxury is an aspirational thing. Everyone aspires to operate in higher price points. I share with you this data to give you inspiration that it's possible and that you can break through price ceilings. You totally possibly can, and you're in the best environment to do it. How do I know it? We sell 1 of every 3 homes in the luxury price point in southeastern Wisconsin. We sell 117% more than the number 2 brand, and if you combined 2, 3, 4, and 5, we still sell more than all of them combined. I share that with you to give you what is it that you aspire to do, and how are you inspired, and how do you lean on your peers, because we have a, 17% market share of the overall market, but we have a 30% market share of the top end of the market. My goal is to help continuously push what you think is possible for you in your business, to earn more than what you think you're worth. Cool? Love it. Lastly, I just show you that I like trend lines that start in the lower left and go to the upper right. Cool? What else? Any other questions you guys have for me? Or anything I can help you with? Good? The data helpful? Love it. My goal is to make sure I'm adding value to you guys every day. If you have questions on it, feel free to ask. If I can help you in any way, you know I'm willing to do it. And it's a great day to be alive. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, I know a lot of you are using the new system and form. Some of you aren't, so we'll give you opportunity after we go through the slides to talk about properties that did not make it in for the slideshows. So John Ekstrom has this at almost $4 million, 6-bed, 5.5 bath, 166 feet on the Lake Beulah. So if you guys are familiar with the area, the pictures are gorgeous. Really cool location, nice sized property. Yeah. Jen Bureau has one 344.5, 3-bed, 1.5 bath, 1,200 square feet. Open houses are in delay, but they go live this Friday. So reach out to Jen if you guys have any questions on this property.
Wait.
I'm waiting. Go ahead.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Mark Smith, Team Smith, Wisconsin, 775, 3-bed, 1.5 bath, 1,400 square feet, ranch home with vaulted ceilings, natural fireplace on 17 plus acres, multi-zone land with a pole barn and stables, extra 2.5 car garage. Open houses are this week, Thursday and Saturday. So see Team Smith, Wisconsin if you guys have any questions. Buyer needs. Karen Nemeth is looking up to $875, 3+ den or a 4-bedroom with 2.5 bath, less than 1,800 square feet, or bigger than 1,800 square feet, sorry. Located in New Berlin, possibly Brookfield. Wants an in-ground pool or room for one, finish lower level. If it's a 3-bedroom, must have a den and office.
Karen, are they open to Menominee Falls? Are they open to Menominee Falls? I've got one that's going to be great coming up at 500 with 4-bedroom split ranch. Is it updated? Yeah. 2017 update.
We're South Carolina, apparently.
I know a few of you had some properties that didn't make it in on the list that needed to talk. Anyone specifically? Yes, Katie.
I have one coming up this weekend in Oak Creek. It's a small guy. It's 950 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. It's 0.75 acres, 2-car detached garage, new roof, new siding. It's going to be listed at $260. And then I have one in Menominee Falls that's going to be coming up in about a week and a half. It is 4 bedrooms, split ranch, in-ground pool, updated kitchen, updated basement, listed at 500.
Okay. Ross.
I've got a single.
Will you say we all say y'all's names too? Yes, fine. Thank you.
Ross Treffer with the Goodland Collection. I have a single party in Greenfield, 3-bed, 1.5 bath, partially finished, lower level. It's like out of a magazine. It's been really nicely decorated. Big lot, 435. They're building a house in Franklin, so anyone that can kind of help with that timeline.
Awesome. All right. Any other buyer or seller needs? Tony G.
This will be the last week that we're not on here, I promise.
Okay. We're holding you to it. Or we're holding your
Okay.
apples.
So for those of you who have some investors wanting to operate at a pretty high level, we have a property that'll be launching this week in Whitefish Bay on North Larkin. It is an 1,850 square foot, 4-bed, 1.5 bath, 2-story home. It's a full renovation, but it has the opportunity to add probably another 700 square feet and a full bath in the unfinished attic space. ARV and comps on that street are selling for around $800,000. It's going to be listed at $425. So it needs a lot of work. It's a full gut job, but and you got to go with high-end finishes in that neighborhood. But for those investors that like that type of renovate and resell opportunity, bring them through. We also have a Bayview property. It's awesome. It is off market right now, over 2,100 square feet, 3-bed, 2 full bath on Austin Street. It's a 2-story home. We have an off market in Waukesha on Harris Highland. This is a 3-bed, 2 full bath ranch on 3/4 of an acre, 2.5 car attached garage. And that is off market right now at $400. Emerald Circle, anyone looking for a Brookfield condo, off market $300,000, 3-bed, 2 full bath. Let's see here. Oh, special shout out, Sharice's parents are selling their garage on vacant lot in Greenfield. It is a 800 square foot, 4-car luxury garage with a pneumatic car lift, built-in compressor, a heater. So for any like car enthusiasts, people looking for a little workshop area, and it's about a 1/4 acre lot in Greenfield. We had it independently appraised at $170. That's what we listed at $170. Also, we have one property on the MLS that is struggling, has been for many months, on North Astor Street, east side, literally walking distance to Glorioso's. It's a 5-bed, 3 full bath, 3,000 square foot, turn of the century home with a 2-car attached heated garage. It's a situation, divorce situation, essentially. Sellers are super motivated. They are encouraging me to advertise it as, please bring any fair and reasonable offer. So if someone wants to, if you got investors, if you have someone looking for a sweat equity opportunity, like they are willing to entertain anything at this point in time.
Yes.
Can I just add on that lot?
Yep.
It's on off of 93rd and Cold Spring, so it's in Greenfield. It's a highly desirable area. The land is buildable.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to be really clear. You're
absolutely.
not just buying a plot of land with a garage.
You guys should reach out to Royce Fortier. He has a big group that he does like car shows, and they have a bunch of like extra boats, cars, and they do a bunch of events
Yeah,
like
bring
that. And
for
that's his
storage.
whole like pipeline.
And that's
So-
that's what Teresa's dad used it for. is
Yeah.
classic
So I would
cars
reach
and-
out to
yeah.
Royce.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? Buyer seller needs. All right, guys. Well, that's a wrap. Have a good one. Thank you.